I didn't want to do this. Nobody likes doing this, but it has come to my attention that my cast iron pans need a deep cleaning. Even when they are clean, and they are clean right now, they look dirty. If I'm going to film them, I need to do a better job of making them presentable, and so that starts today. It really isn't that hard of a process. I've done it before. It's just that my style of cooking, sautéing and braising and sometimes just plain scorching, is really hard on the pans. I mean, it leaves a mark when you do that. But there's a reason I cook that way, and that's because there's magic in that brown. There's some deliciousness that comes out of scorching and braising and sautéing and then deglazing to bring those brown juicy flavors up, but it does leave a stain every time you do it that just won't wash off with normal soap and water or even a scouring pad. And we don't really want to scour these because we don't want to hurt the enamel. So I'm going to start by using a little baking soda to see if I can't clean them up. We've got this little bag of baking soda that we're going to use. And some people like to start out with a lot of water and a little baking soda and to see how it goes. I think my pans are beyond that. I think I'm going to make a baking soda slurry with just a little bit of hot water, rub it in and let it sit for a little bit and see what happens. Now is probably a good time to mention that if you like seeing this kind of nonsense, you should probably subscribe, because that way you don't want to miss any of this good content. It does make my stuff easier to find, and it does help me out by letting other people know that you like what you see here. Okay, we're going to take this less comically large. It's not near as funny, but it's a lot more practical. We're going to take a much smaller baking soda, and we're going to sprinkle a good amount in each one of these two pans, because we're going to be making a slurry. And then we're going to take some hot water to add it to each one of the two. And that's not terribly hot. That's just out of the tap hot water. And then we're going to stir that around. I might have added too much water, but we can always add more baking soda. It's already starting to come up. And we'll just let that sit for a little bit and then see how we've done. And if we have to do some more work after that, we will. Okay, we've been at it for probably half an hour or so now. And I did put them back on the stove. The water got a little chilly. The slurry, I guess, got a little chilly, so I put them back on the stove. But just to show you our progress, look at that. It's coming out. We're getting somewhere. It's gonna take some time and probably some more baking soda. It's a good thing we got that big bag. Now this one may be a little tougher nut to crack. It's not coming off the bottom quite so much. Let me tell you a little history about this little one. I don't use it that often, so you don't see it much. But I bought it at the same estate sale as I have that Weberware cast iron skillet that I use so much. And that cast iron skillet is older than I am, so I don't know how long they've been making Le Creuset, but it could be this enameled cast iron pan is older than I am. And it could be that it's never had this done before either, so. But we'll just keep working on it, we'll give it some time, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's been about an hour and a half so far. I've gone through a couple of heating cycles where I take the pan back on the stove and heat it up a little bit and heat up the slurry and then just kind of let it sit and let it rub around. And it's, especially on the big one, it's really starting to come out. It's still pretty ugly looking in there, but I'll give you a little peek. See how clean that's getting on the bottom? So it doesn't take a lot of work. You know, I haven't been scrubbing at this for an hour and a half. It's just been letting it sit mostly and letting time work for me. We're getting there. I may swap out the baking soda this time and start fresh. And the little one, I don't know, it may never get clean. It may take longer than I have to get that bottom layer off. There's a lot on there. This pan was very well loved. Sides are getting pretty good. That bottom is something else. It is thick. Okay, we'll check back. Okay, we've got our pans. I'm not gonna call them done yet. I'm gonna work on them some more, but that is a vast improvement to what it was before. I gave them a clean rinse. That one, on the other hand, is not quite as good, but I can start to see some real improvement down there and on the corners, the edges of the bottom too. So we're gonna take our jumbo-sized bag of baking soda, and we're gonna put a big healthy scoop. Turns out that box of baking soda was enough to get started. I'm glad we got this 13-pounder here. Dump another couple healthy scoops in there. Add some warm water. Not too much this time. I'm trying to keep it to a slurry. It sticks better. And I've just been using paper towels to do the scrubbing or the mixing or the whatever. Just leave them in there and throw them away when they're done. We don't want to use anything too abrasive because then that'll take the enamel off, and we don't want that. It's there for a reason, to keep the food from sticking. So we'll check back in a half hour, maybe an hour. Whatever situation they're in an hour, that's probably when I'm going to call it good. So that's fine. Whatever condition they're in, they will be way better off than they were when we started. Okay, see you in a bit. Well, there you go. It's now been about 2.5 hours, and I've rinsed the pans and washed them out with just regular soap and water. And look at that. That's quite an improvement. I'll put both of them up on the screen side by side just so you can see how much of an improvement it really is. But it's not perfect, but it's way better than it was. And this one, we just don't know this pan's history. I got it for $3 at an estate sale, and I bought it for using out on the campfire. And so it's still better than it was, but it's not very good. Anyway, speaking of cooking on the campfire, it's going to be springtime. We're going to be cooking outside again here soon. We've got snow in the forecast tonight, but other than that, sometime again here soon, we're going to be going outside. I'm Paul, and this has been Paul Plays with Fire. Thanks for watching.